Today, we're going to do an N8N demo. The N8N workflow that we're going to do is essentially gives you the ability to basically, in Telegram, you can write commands that will like check your calendar, make calendar appointments, send emails, do things like that. I will give a link to the workflow so everyone can download it, and if you want, follow along. Let's see, we'll talk to some new people today. I will introduce myself because I see at least one new person. So I am Dr. Jeff, PhD in neuroscience from the University of Southern California. Go Trojans. I did my PhD thesis on computer vision and AI before anybody cared about AI. And people even barely care about computer vision, although they use it all the time. When I graduated, because nobody cared about AI, I went into marketing and sales and operations. I was working with startups and doing web development, SEO, marketing analytics, things like that. And then years ago, I got back into AI. I started to do initially machine learning and computer vision projects because that's what my background was, and then some NLP. And then really ChatGPT changed the game. Part of the reason why a lot of us are here is because of ChatGPT. And thank you, Code Zero. I'm inspiring to be you probably. And really, like there's all these different, obviously technologies that have brought us here. The usage of GPUs to train and run models on. Transformer technology, which makes it so that we can train at an extremely fast rate and do parallel processing with our AI models, and then the development of large language models and diffusion models that are used for image and video generation. But all that stuff sounds good, but ChatGPT, when you really think about it, is what did it, right? Where that put AI on the map. We have been using AI for decades now in various pieces of technology and never really thought about it. But as soon as that computer would talk back to us in a way that was pushing that Turing test pretty far, right? Where it's like, okay, like this seems conversational enough for us to get interested. And if you really think about it, when ChatGPT first came out, it was like almost useless compared to what it'll do now. Like the functionality that it has now is pretty incredible. And that's from not it just being an LLM that you can interact with, but the agentic, highly agentic, complex system that it has with it now. And so these days I do a lot of consulting and workshops for businesses and professionals on how to integrate AI. I build RAG LLM, graph RAG systems, image and video generation pipelines, and agentic workflows. Okay, and so today I already went over, we're going to do N8N. Tomorrow, I'm putting the finishing touches on my Intro to AI talk. I need to give that next week to a bunch of business owners, but as I've described here before, this is one of my favorite talks to give. I feel like it is useful. In some way, it may seem redundant if you are fairly advanced. If you're new, it may give you a pretty good orientation on what's going on, how AI works. And then even I do feel like there are things I noticed that some even AI professionals get wrong about AI, where this talk could possibly fit in. And really, it's to put all those pieces together. If there's a bunch of stuff where you just kind of nod along and you're like, yeah, I get basically how that works, this should fill in those gaps and really give you a much more fundamental idea of AI. And then also, I think that some of this can be used, I would say, at various points in time. I use the information that's in this talk, pieces of it, when I am meeting with new clients. Like for every new client, I probably use 1 to 5 pages of this talk in some way, shape, or form, where I'm explaining something to them. And so, and that is somewhat useful, especially when you can put it in these terms. None of it is math-based. It is all conceptual-based. And that can really, make your clients think that you know what you're talking about. At least mine seem to think I know what I'm talking about, even though I don't. Okay, new faces that we have here. Ash seems new. Code Zero. I'm aspiring to be Code Zero. Devin Vanderpool, I think, is new. Georgetta is, of course, not new. Gio seems new. Maybe Justin. Keith, are you all new? If any of you, yeah, if you're new, say hi in the chat. Let me know what you're looking to get out of, what brought you to AI Profit Boardroom, what you're looking to get out of this. That helps us provide more value and give more direction on where we're going. Or you can turn on your mic and give me a break from talking because I talk too much already.
Hey, Jeff, I've been in your group before.
Okay.
It's been a little while.
Got you. Okay. No, you're totally fine. I do my best to try to recognize all the names, but if it has been a while, then it will.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm interested in the communication aspect with AI. The shift is changing in a crazy pace, but one thing I think huge about is how to communicate with AI. Right. And so I will tell you, communicating with AI is probably one of the #1 skills that we all need to learn how to do to be effective in the growing industry and marketplace. And this is all over the place. And part of that is just prompting, right? That's sort of our main way of communicating with AI, or giving instructions to AI. Like, right, if you're setting up an agent, you are creating, a prompt for it to use repeatedly, or when you're just using Claude or Gemini or ChatGPT, that communication is important. And really, I brought this up before, I have found that communicating with AI is also somewhat similar to how to communicate effectively with human beings, right? You want to be, put all of the ideas that you're looking for in there, right? Like, you don't want to assume that it knows what you're thinking. You want to be clear and explicit in what you're looking for. You want to, again, like, I think that we do a lot of taking shortcuts when we communicate with each other, and then there's miscommunications, right? But if you wrote everything down or whatever in an email that you were absolutely looking for, and you didn't cut corners and you didn't skip steps, and the person on the other end was going through it and ingesting each different piece as best as possible, and none of it was confusing, then you would have proper communication. And that also is what you want to do with AI. And then it'll still get things wrong, let's be real. And part of that is also, I would say, with communicating with AI is, you do want to have those clear, well-defined prompts, but also use, my philosophy is, if you over prompt, you will under deliver. Right? Which, do not ask it to do too much at once. That is your #1 recipe for failure, is take what you're trying to do and break it up into steps. Have it go through things piece by piece by piece. And some of that is experimentation to see how small you should chunk your pieces up into, and then how big you should. And sometimes, you go back and forth with it, where it's like, all right, here, let's see, let me just throw it all out there, see what happens. What do I care? Let me just burn up some tokens. And then from there, see what you get from that first draft. I mean, I do that actually sometimes with, like, some of the writing I'm doing, where I will give it, say, for a blog article or something. It's like, here, write me this blog article concept. And then I'll see what it comes up with. From there, I'll be like, oh, no, okay, yeah, here are the other details that I want. Do it like this. And then it does that. And then it's usually too short for what I'm looking for. So then I'll take that article, copy and paste it into another document, and then go through it paragraph by paragraph and just be like, okay, here, let's work on this paragraph. Let's work on this paragraph. Let's work on this paragraph. And theoretically, I should have gone paragraph by paragraph to start, but, it also did help me to understand the full concept of where it was going and see the full picture, and then from there, start to isolate the different pieces. And again, like, theoretically, maybe I should have gone piece by piece. If you were going to, and then even if you were to have an agent do it piece by piece, maybe you should do it that way. But also, one of the things I stress is that this is all experimental and new. This is all bleeding edge technology. There isn't a best way to do it yet. Maybe the way that you're doing is the best way, and that, or it's the best way for you. Your brain thinks one way, and you want to develop your projects that way. I think the most important thing is that at some point in time, you do want to, especially if you have a more complex task, start to break it up into pieces if you do want to have it be really well done and to your specifications. Anybody else have anything they want to throw in the chat or turn on the mic of what they're looking to get out of these meetings, these coaching calls from AI Profit Boardroom? What brought them here? Keith, if you want to throw something out there, or
yeah, sure. So I'm a VP of software development for a client services company, and I've been looking at AI enabled tools for the last 2-3 years, and I use tons of AI, just about everything that I do, both personally and at work. But it'd be interesting to see some of the ways people are using AI, because I kind of figured that if people are using these tools more, I mean, certainly in a corporate perspective, I'm looking at how to maximize my teams. But personally, I was like, well, if people are using AI to make money, if 46 years of software development, if I can't leverage them to find something cool to make money, then I think I should be able to. So I just kind of curious how people are leveraging it.
Yeah, and so this, man, I should for my talk tomorrow, I should probably throw this in there. I gotta remember this. One of the things, I'm just gonna write a note as I talk. If that I sort of tell people is that if we stopped making models now, so like we have GPT-5, right? We just got Sonnet 4.5. We have Nano Banana. We have Stable Diffusion. We have all these different models right now, right? If we stopped right now and we just didn't develop anything else anymore, there is trillions, maybe hundreds of trillions of dollars of potential money that can be made just from the models that exist now, that are available to you. If you were, we did on Tuesday, I went through Hugging Face, and there are open source models on there if you don't want to use API integration. The models on Hugging Face, for instance, right? If they didn't add a single model to Hugging Face right now, there is probably, I'll say, $100 trillion worth of potential money to be made out there by just taking the models that exist and creating applications for them, creating workflows for yourself, doing something with them. And you can look at, say, even things like the legal field, the education field, fintech, healthcare, where those legal and healthcare for sure, right? They are drowning in paperwork. There is so much insurance forms, contract documentation, things like that. And somebody or some buddies are, they're all working on it, but there's going to be something that bursts through that makes that job easier, right? Where they don't have as much documentation to deal with, where the AI is helping them get through it. And there are pieces that are happening now, but there's way more that can be happening on those fronts. And if you look at how big healthcare and legal is and how much money is there, or real estate, right? Real estate contracts, things like that. So there is a lot of potential out there, and hopefully we can start to capitalize on it. I agree with, here we go, Keith. I had this on my notes. Significant market opportunities emerging from the convergence of two critical business challenges: rampant inefficiency in the software as a service landscape, the inability of businesses to effectively leverage artificial intelligence. Well, yeah, and that's another aspect. We've talked about this MIT study that came out that showed that 95% of AI projects don't provide an ROI, which at first was discouraging to people. I gotta tell you, when I saw that, I was encouraged because my projects do provide ROI, and so that made me feel like, okay, cool, I'm in the 5%. And I also completely understood why 95% of them aren't delivering ROI, because AI is not good enough. You need to have, what are we? Are we HI, human intelligence? You need to have HI and AI. If you just do the AI without the HI, you end up with something that is unusable. Okay, let's get to our N8N workflow for the day. All right, and then I need to share screen, and hopefully my screen's not a mess. I mean, obviously it's going to be. All right, I think we're good enough to make a go at this. And share. Okay, sharing is caring. Okay, so today this is the personal assistant workflow, and I already downloaded this and tested it out. I got it to work, but technology is a bitter, cruel mistress, or whatever you want to call it, and so it'll probably break on me this time around. But I am going to end up starting it from scratch. Yes, okay, so I have my scratch ready to go. All right, so if you click on this, you will get the workflow here. Let me throw this in the chat. You need to be subscribed to AI Profit Boardroom to be able to check this out. But that's the workflow that we're working with today. So you click here, you'll be able to download. I've already downloaded it, so I don't want to download again. It's not as necessary for me. And then I will create workflow. If we have to, I'll go back to the one that I already built that does work. And then you import from file, and nope, there we go. Okay, so what this is going to do is allow you to use Telegram to give what would you say, directions to either like get information about your calendar or send emails. And so when I did this, I initially just tested out really quickly to make sure that I could get it to work, POC, that the calendar system would work. But once I get this up and running, we'll throw some different stuff out there. Maybe we'll send me emails to myself and another account and check it out. Okay, and so there are really a few different credentials that you need to put in here. For each one of these Telegram ones, you're gonna have to put those in. We'll get to those last. We're gonna use our buddy, Claude to help us with those. If you want, and you're a masochist and you want to go through the API documentation from Telegram, go right ahead. I gave it a shot and was looking at it for 5 minutes, and I was like, this was not written by a person who, this is not a person who should be communicating with other people. Apologies if you're the person who put together the Telegram API documentation, but it was a rough read. And so I just asked Claude to help me figure it out, and then I was able to easily create my own documentation, our API audit system. So then, yeah, so we'll get to those last, and then we'll get to those. So then you have this guy here. So this is our buddy, OpenAI. You need to have your OpenAI account already. Here, let me go in here. So you need an API key. This will be already set to OpenAI API. If it isn't, it's you know, boom. And again, like API key for this is pretty easy. You do need to be at the OpenAI web address, not the ChatGPT web address. But if you go to OpenAI, you sign into your account there, and then you click on API key, or you type in API key, I think, in the search, then you can generate one. You do need to have money in here separately than your pro account. So your API key has separate funds than your regular account. And then boom, this has got OpenAI for us here. And it's connecting there. And then here also, this is where we're going to choose our model. Same thing. Once you've already generated or you have your credential in here, then I wish N8N would just, I don't know, even automatically use the credentials. It's like, yeah, guess which credential I want to use for the OpenAI node? Probably my OpenAI API key, right? Gmail and calendar. So some of the Google, what would you say, tools are a little bit more complex to use, I think. That's why we use like Sheets a lot, and we use Gmail and calendar. Once you get into, I think Docs and Drive is a bit more complicated, but for this, you just do a sign in with Google situation. It should be really simple for you, and you're going to get a very similar sign in with Google page that you'll see with a lot of platforms that give you the ability to sign in with Google. I can reconnect here if we want, and then boom, Dr. Jeff, you got to click some of these buttons and then continue. Then I'm going to get an email about this telling me that I did it. Cool. So we're good there. Same thing with calendar, right? I guess I want to use my Google Calendar account. This one is already connected, so but same process, good to go there. So we're set, and then really the last one is these Telegram message triggers, right? So very similarly here, let me just go to the edit. So really, this is already set up with api.telegram.org. This is the access token that we're going to want to use. And then how do we get that access token? So again, you do need to have a Telegram account for this to work. You can sign up for one. And test it out. And again, like theoretically, to do a lot of the stuff, you should just go to their API documentation and it'll explain to you what to do. That is a terrible process. These are the instructions here. So you want to go to Telegram. You're going to do a search for botfather. You're going to send botfather this message, new bot. Name your bot. N8N bot or something. Choose a username. So this username is going to need to be unique, and we'll need to, yeah, like you can't just like if you put it says e.g. my N8N bot, that's actually not going to work because somebody else already chose my N8N bot. I think mine's like Dr. Jeff N8N bot or something like that, and that was fine. And then you're going to get an API key like this one. And here, if you take a look, okay, because this is that, okay, that's my bot. So then, yeah, so this is botfather, right? So you like type in here botfather, right? Then you get this guy. Then I did start, I did new bot, I named the bot, my N8N bot told me this username is already used, and then, oh, okay, instead, no, and then I tried 1111, my N8N bot, that's an invalid one. Dr. Jeff, my N8N bot was good, and then it gave me an API key, right? And then that is the API key that looks something like this-ish, but then I threw that into here, right? Boom, that's my API key there. And then that API key, so that's, I've created this credential now, and that's the thing, is that the credential does carry over. I do need to click on these guys, boom, boom, and now they are ready to go. So then now this whole thing, there's nothing wrong with it, or not nothing wrong with it, but I have to see what is the right order of operations. So then I don't want this anymore. Clear, now cancel. How do I, okay, then, okay, there we go. And then this is my guy. And so then I started it, and then there's just some issues here. Let me move this guy over. But then once I start executing this workflow, then it'll start working. Really quickly, we will take a little bit more of a look through this guy. But first, let me see, are there any questions, issues that people are running into? You can't respond to a comment with an emoji in Google Meet. That is, I guess that is sad. Maybe one day we need to hit up Google and let them know they need emojis in Google Meet. Does anybody have any questions, any issues with what we've done so far with that? If I need to talk slower, because I know I talk too fast too often.
I don't have a question with that, but when I put my last note in as a send text message Telegram node back, I often have to put a code node before it, or else it'll say something about characters escaping. I have to change to Markdown v2, and it's got to like format it properly, or else it just doesn't output anything, and I'm not sure why. I mean, I get it to work.
So for this workflow, or for a different workflow?
Different. Like I created a RAG bot for a law firm,
right? And
their access to it is through Telegram, and just in order for it to spit out the correct answer, it does need, or not just to put out anything, it'll say it's incorrectly formatted when it tries to send as a text message from the RAG agent.
Right. So
yeah.
And it does need to be in the right format to send it along. Sometimes what you can do is tell the agent to export it in that format, and I have to see what the actual code node is essentially, but that is fairly typical that we would have nodes, code nodes in between our agentic outputs, or even going into our agentic system, so that they are set up properly. Keith, go for it.
Yeah, all these agents like use Markdown incredibly well. They'll either output in Markdown, or everything that I put into context or upload files are usually in Markdown. So for me, like, I use one Markdown as an editor because I can copy and paste things in there, and then it should automatically escape out. So you probably have some character that should be escaped. Sometimes it's like a space, it's probably not, but sometimes it's like a backsplash or a $sign, something that could actually be converted into a prompt injection or a SQL injection, and so they want that escaped. So if you plug it into one Markdown, or specifically a Markdown editor to begin with, and then usually they have a code, and then they have an edit pane, which is good for viewing. But anyhow, from there, you should be able to save it in Markdown and upload it, the file directly. So
yeah,
I have a question. Could you hear me?
Go for it. Yes.
Yes, I'm new here, right?
Yeah.
So I just need to know, like, I know I have an idea what the purpose of doing this is, but could you clarify, please?
What purpose of doing which aspect? N8N in general?
The Telegram. Gaining leads, or is for cold reaching out to people? Are you trying to sell something?
So for this specific workflow that we're doing, Telegram, well, I mean, Telegram is just a messaging service, right? And so what we're doing with this is, and you'll see when I execute it, is basically I can use Telegram as sort of my chat interface, essentially, to then tell the agent to do various things with either my Google Calendar or with emails, right? And so one thing I am going to test out, and you'll see once I get it up and running, is I can ask it, what's on my calendar today, tell me what's on my calendar for the day. But then we will try to give it different other tasks to do and see what it can do. And so this is for having the agent, again, read and interact with your calendar or read and interact with your emails. But you could then add all kinds of different functionality to it, right? And this just gives you a way, like it's saying, like this is your personal assistant. You could start to connect other nodes to this, and then if the agent is prompted to, it would be able to control those API integrations. And again, like you could have it potentially reading a Google Sheet for you, or doing different things. Like you basically just give it tasks and it will do them for you.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to know, is it any outreach and you'd contact someone and they contact you, or it would read like a email from someone that, that.
So this we'll try that out. We'll see about it reading an email from somebody fairly soon. But theoretically it can do that. And then last week's, we did do an outreach system where you give it a Google Sheet with names and email addresses, and then it had email templates, and it would automate it and just run through and just send all the people emails.
Oh, perfect.
That was last week's. This week's is the personal assistant. All these videos are available somewhere. Arnett knows way better than I do, because that's the other thing. I gotta ask Vic, where are all of these emails stored, or where all the videos are stored? I forgot to do that because everyone asks and I never know, and I never wanted to know. Okay. All right. So let's walk through this N8N. So we have our initial trigger message, right? So you'll see once I send in a message that it'll actually propagate through here and give directions to our agent. And we have two different forms of doing it. I only did it through text, but as you can see here, we have this, is it an audio file? So it's basically just checking to see whether or not this is an audio file. True, then it gets the file and it transcribes it. So we have we'll see this is a voice to text node. And then if not, then it just sets the field and it sends it to our agent. And so then this is a simple get file where this is getting the voice message file. Let me see, maybe we'll try that out and see how much we can break this system. And then this is a transcribe or recording. So this is, our source is audio. It's going to use our OpenAI account, and then it is going to transcribe this file from audio to text. And then this is just grabbing the message from our the text message that came in from Telegram. Then we're going on to this assistant, and so then this is our assistant prompt. And this you can again, if you're going to potentially add different tools in here, then you may want to use that. And this is just set up right now. You can see there is one in here that's set up for calendar queries and then email queries. So look, let me check your recent email, any important emails today. So yeah, we can ask about things. I wonder if it can actually, and so yeah, I can check my calendar. How's the weather? Okay. It's only going to check our email and our calendar because that's all we're connected to. So again, some of this you would modify if you wanted to, let me see this guy. It's a little bit easier to see this way. So yeah, let's just, let's go, I forgot how to get out of this guy though. Is it just that? Yeah. So if you want, this is a pretty tough way of viewing your prompt. This guy here makes it easier to take a look at everything. And so right here you can see what we have is this is a dynamic script, right? So not everything is hard coded in. But this is where this is sort of the dynamic variable version. Then you can see what it actually looks like over here when it gets the different information. And so this only has, I guess, the date information. Everything else is just, and that's just for this one. But for other ones, you can see where this is going to take this variable now, format time, and then this is the correct time for me. This might not be the correct time for you, but this is what time and day it is for me over here. And then again, this is got your different instructions. So what can it do? When users ask about emails, messages, or communication, can filter by date ranges when specified, help users find specific emails or get summaries, check my recent emails, any important messages today. Users ask about their schedule, meetings, or appointments, can check specific date ranges, help with scheduling conflicts or availability. And so it's just going to respond to me with different things. So answer questions and provide information, check and retrieve emails from their Gmail account. So it's only going to be able to view things and respond. It's not going to be able to actually generate emails or generate anything on the calendar. But it's just a way for you, especially if you had a busy calendar. This is, again, like one functionality or two sets of functionalities that you can have on here. You can start to add more and then just make it so that you can communicate with your different applications. And then this is our Gmail node. We already took a look at this. This is our calendar node. This is our memory guy. And boom, let's, I forget which order I had to do this in. I think, okay, yeah, so then it is waiting. Now that it's executing, it's going to wait for me to prompt. And then as you can see, it's like, what are the most recent emails? See what it says. Hopefully they're not a bunch of spam emails or something. Boom. Oh, okay, I know why. I ran into this exact problem before. It was Gmail account, resource send. Wait, this is a totally different problem than I had before. Let me go back. And this was one of the problems that I had seen before, is that it was set to Vic's calendar, and so that was causing a problem. And then here, let's try to execute the workflow again. All right, let's ask about the calendar. What's on my calendar? Or boom, right? So this coaching call is on here, and then the gym time, which I actually went to today. So I went to the gym and it's coaching call, and so it is pulling this stuff from my calendar. Now, I did not test out this. I wonder if there is. Just send an email. Email account, automatically. Resource message. Operation send. Let's see. I didn't try to send anything. Send a email to see if this works. Now this part. Let me see. I have to execute again. Okay. It worked. Yay. Okay, so that worked. That's my crazy email. You might have seen quickly my mom talking about my daughter getting her ears pierced. That was very necessary. Hi, Jeff. I was wondering if you're available for lunch today. Let me know what time works best for you. Looking forward to it. Best regards. And so, yeah. So, and then, I mean, that could be, again, something really quick, right? Where, boom, especially, if you're in Telegram a lot, right? Then you can just easily go here and be like, yeah, send this person an email. And it puts together these. You may want to work on your formatting a little bit. Maybe these shorter emails are a little bit better, but boom, we have a working pipeline or a working workflow. It will send us emails. And probably if I ask, I mean, we could try that. Let me see. Let me push this a little bit. Who do I have emails from that got one from? All right, let me know if I have an email from AI Profit. Let me know if I have any emails from AI. And then I think I still have to, do I have to, and I think maybe the triggering I just need to change a little bit because I checked and you don't have any recent emails from AI Profit Board. However, you do have an AI Profit Board coaching call on the calendar today. That's interesting. So I wonder if maybe it's just not picking up the email because the name is something different. But it is smart that it knew to check my email and then it went to my calendar. That was pretty cool. So yeah, any questions on that? What's the API cost of that execution? Minimal, less than a penny, I would say. Right here, I'm gonna copy down what Arnett just wrote, just so I have that for myself. Oh, I'm gonna check it out. That way I know from now on. Because Telegram isn't charging me anything, Google's not charging me anything. I do have to have my N8N account, so whatever that is, that's a sunk cost. And then the token usage is probably less than a penny, maybe around a penny or something for the API agent or for the OpenAI agent. I cannot believe I'm using that much. Maybe a couple cents. I don't know, but like nothing more than that. Axe AI. It's here. Nobody even actually has to raise their hand. They can just talk. It's fine, unless somebody else is already talking. But you can always interrupt me. That's what I'm here for.
Oh, okay. I felt like that was the polite thing to do. Anywho,
Yep.
quick question. Would this work? Is there a reason why Telegram not say WhatsApp or any other messaging service? Is there anything special about Telegram that's the reason why we're using it? Or
I mean, it does have this API integration and this ability to create bots with it, but there are, if you look on, let's go really quickly to Classroom. That's a 6-week one. There are N8N templates and workflows. There's all kinds of different ones on here, right? And so I think that was just chosen because we need to choose something. But then here's a WhatsApp one.
Can you look to see, do they have like a LinkedIn sales navigator?
I know that we have LinkedIn ones. I don't know if there's a LinkedIn sales navigator one. I thought there was a, but Matt might have just been posting LinkedIn posts because I know we've done that.
For those in business, that's a real good source to be able to generate lists in Navigator and then being able to, send out contact requests and stuff through LinkedIn. Absolutely. So that'd be a cool automation to do.
That'd be a cool
one. I don't know. And okay. So then Vic, when you're checking this one out and you're listening to this call, people are looking for a LinkedIn Sales Navigator automation. You might get one popping up from there. Oh, here is a follow-up. So so on Tuesday when I did the Hugging Face Dr. Jeff special, part of the reason why we did that was because the thousands of N8N templates were not working. However, turns out that might have been my fault. I need to go and double check because when Vic originally sent me this N8N workflow that we were working on right now, it was also a mess. And turned out, I don't know if anybody else, if you do not update your N8N platform to the newest platform, it loses its mind when you try to import in workflows as JSONs. It's okay if you build the workflows yourself, but then if you try to import them in, then they're terrible. So I need to go, I might have disparaged those 2000 N8N templates wrongly, and really I just needed to update my N8N workplace, whatever. But I had the same issue with this same workflow, and then once I updated, everything worked fine. And so we may revisit the 2000 plus N8N templates. And for anybody who's wondering what I'm talking about, let me see if I got it. Okay, so it is this guy. Again, I'm not sure, but it definitely changed things when I did that. So let me throw this in here. Just in case anybody, I just stopped sharing. So if you weren't on last week's call, so this is a link that is part of our N8N classroom and shows that it says 1,000 plus templates, but then when you get to it, it's 2,000 plus. And it's pretty easy to get it up and running, and it has a cool web interface that I don't know if am I still running anywhere? Then this would be easy to test out. Oh no, actually here, that's a test. Let's just see. I'm gonna look at this really quickly and then works it all. I will share my screen again just to prove the point. Let's see, I have workflows that I had downloaded from there that did not work at all. And then once I updated, I got something. Here we go. Let's see, does this work? No, okay, never mind. All right, so Vic's workflows do work. Okay, so if you are, so here, that's a good public service announcement. If you do not have an updated version of N8N and you are downloading the templates from our website, and when you import them, they look like they're a mess and nothing's connected and the documentation isn't right and the nodes aren't connected, it is possible that you need to stop ignoring the part that says update your N8N workspace and update it. However, still not getting good results from the 2,000 plus templates GitHub repo. So the link I just shared, if anybody can get those to work well, let me know. I have not been able to get anything out of those. Okay, and then tomorrow's presentation, I've been using GenSpark to put together the PowerPoint slides. If you're not familiar with GenSpark, pretty cool, pretty cool. A lot of our PowerPoint slides that I present typically are done through GenSpark, and so I was using it. What I will tell you is, so I had it do, it's like 30 pages. They have templates that are already there, and then they have an agent that will essentially take all of your content that you've already put together and put it together into a PowerPoint. I feel like that's better. It does have the functionality for you to just type something in and be like, here, generate me a presentation on this topic. I don't think you are going to get what you want when you do it that way. However, if you, the steps that I took, just to give everyone a peek behind the curtain, is I put down my thoughts for each one of my different slides that I basically wanted to do, and then found pictures or generated pictures using an image generator for each different portion, and then did Google slide, or like, then I stored those images in my Google Drive, copied the Google Drive link into, it was just a document, right? So it would start with like the title, and it's like, these are the bullet points of what I want in there, and then boom. Then I took that document and I created a project in ChatGPT. I gave ChatGPT access to the whole document, so I uploaded the document so for its project knowledge, and then we went through it section by section. So I didn't have it go through the whole PowerPoint at once. There's like, say, 6 different sections in there. I was like, here, let's work on these 5 slides. Give me feedback. Give me, make these slides look better. Not look better, but just like sound better. Like, make it more professional seeming. I think it did a great job of that. Like, I originally had, I think, good ideas in there, but then once I saw what it did to make my ideas come to life for PowerPoint slides, it did a great job with that. From there, now I had a new document that now had better text content for all of my PowerPoint slides, and then still it had my Google Drive links to all my images. I took that document, went to GenSpark, uploaded the document, and then chose one of their templates and said, create me a set of PowerPoint slides. The first set of PowerPoint slides it created were not correct. It did a bunch of different things that weren't great, right? Where it would take things that I thought were obviously 2 different slides and it would combine them into one slide. It reorganized the slides so that they weren't going in the order that I wanted them in. It did not put some of the images into the slide. It put some images in there, but they were funky looking. However, it does take editing notes pretty well. And so even though it did not do an entire PowerPoint slide presentation perfectly the first time around, with not minimal, but with feedback. And essentially what you do is you give it feedback, like, hey, you did this wrong. I'm doing it like piecewise. I'm not giving it all the feedback at once. But again, like sort of going through a section, it's like, oh, you know what? You didn't do this right. You didn't do this right. Do this right. Do that right. It is pretty much listening to the feedback. And so I think with maybe 5 to 10 iterations for a project that size, it'll get it to roughly where you want, and then download it and then do your own little final edit tweaks, and you're good to go. And so again, is it perfect? No. And could I just type into GenSpark, make me an intro to AI PowerPoint presentation with this template and make it good? I really do not feel like it would be anywhere near as amazing as the PowerPoint presentation I'm going to give tomorrow. But for sure, having AI help me with both making my bullet point content texts like be more professional, be more robust, and then using their PowerPoint, GenSpark's PowerPoint generator to generate the PowerPoint saves a bunch of time. And if you look at what you're paying for it, it's obviously worth it, right? Like roughly what I'm paying for that, if I had to pay somebody to make the PowerPoint slides, it would cost probably 10 times as much maybe. If I had to do it myself, that would be roughly a problem. It would cost at least that much more. And so that is a workflow that I would highly suggest, is put your ideas down, break them down into PowerPoint ideas. You could have AI help you with that initially. I kind of had my ideas first and then went forward. Go for it, Justin.
Do you ever use Gamma or Skyworks for slides?
I have not. What's Gamma like?
Oh my God, it's incredible. I think you'd probably like it more than GenSpark. If you want, I can share my screen and show you something quick.
I'm on there now. Yes, here, show me what you got. It'll allow you to share screen. I think any of us can share screen, right?
I've used GenSpark, and between the two of them, I definitely got to give it to Gamma.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, I should have talked to you guys before I did a month of GenSpark subscription.
I still have it. I've had it for 6 months. It's really good for a lot of stuff. If you don't know about Gamma, it's definitely a way to go. I was
So
doing
it
that.
just does PowerPoints though, is that right?
It's presentations.
Okay, slides, AI. How much is Gamma a month? And I wonder if I'm on the right Gamma.
I think
So
it's
there's gamma.com.ai, and there's gamma.app, and then there's gamma.design. Man, people realized Gamma was a thing, and they just started calling everything Gamma.
Yeah. Code 00 put a link in there for gamma.app.
Gamma.app. Bring your ideas to life. Start for free. Start for free is how they scam you. Then you find out what everything really costs.
Oh yeah, I still have the free account.
Oh, $8 a month. Okay. Damn. All right. I'm definitely gonna possibly have to cancel my GenSpark. So Gamma's the way to go.
I still have the free account, and I have at least 60 presentations that I've done so far.
So hold on. It'll let you. Can you then download the presentations on a free account?
Yeah,
Yes,
you can do.
What?
it's amazing. It's amazing.
That's okay. All right. Gamma. All right.
You can post them on a website. There's a lot you can do.
All right. Well, I have my presentation. I'm going to throw it through Gamma, and then maybe that'll be a little bit of the presentation tomorrow. Is not just here's my presentation for everybody, but the side by side. This is what Gamma's like. This is what.
That'd be cool.
It's like, okay, all right, everyone. This was fun. I learned something. That's my favorite part of doing these. Tomorrow, if you want to show up, this is my favorite talk to give. Intro to AI, how you can understand AI from a very basic concept, and how to demystify a lot of these acronyms that people use. I think that's the right word. But I will see everyone tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, and stay safe out there. Watch out for the AI goblins.
Thank you.